Alright, what's up guys? Finally back to making a video. I was supposed to make a video about my time at Club Loose. Had a great time. But I just really didn't like the way the clips laid out. I didn't really have any I don't know. I just didn't film enough in my opinion. And all I had was clips of the car. And it's just boring to watch clips back to back to back of just driving in-car footage. I had a couple out-of-car clips, but I have some exciting news today. Something that's going to give me something to actually film. The problem with my 240 is I'm not really putting a lot of money into that car because I've been trying to focus on getting another chassis to build, and that means I don't really do much to it. I just try and fix it to keep it running pretty much, and right now it's running, so there's nothing really to do with that. But this car will be a winter-long project, I'm hoping. So let me show you guys what we're working with for the 2018 season. And this is the new chassis I have picked for this year. It's a 2010 Mustang. S197, but it's the updated body style. It wasn't a Coyote car, it wasn't a 5.0. The 2010 had the newer body style, but still had the 4.6. So, fun note. Now, literally, as you can see, there isn't much in it. Here is the reason why I ended up with it is this right here. So, normally, I used to work for a car auction, inspecting cars for frame damage and body damage and stuff like that. So I had a pretty good idea what to look for going into this. I didn't really see anything I didn't like, especially for what I'm going to be doing with it. So clearly the roof is smashed in. It's super easy to see right here. The doors are destroyed. There's really no saving them. I'm going to keep them because they might be on the car for the first few events. My main focus of the winter is getting the inside and the motor all done, but the fenders were trash. I have them, but I have 320s came with it, but this one has a donut. One of the 20s is really fucked up. This door also jacked. The A-pillar is actually pretty straight, and there's not a single dent in it. Back there in the corner there's a little dent. You can see right there. I don't think that's related to the accident. This is the only spot where the A-pillar is actually messed up. It's right there, and I already cut the windshield out just so I can get in here easier, but that's the only spot that's actually messed up. And in here there's nothing. I had to buy the handbrake myself. Originally the ad said it was just no motor and drivetrain, so I hit him up. I was like, dude, clean title? He's like, yeah, which is the main reason I bought this. If this had a salvage title, I wouldn't have been interested, but when he crashed it, he didn't report it to the insurance, so this car still has a clean title, and I actually have it. He flipped it at relatively low speeds, he said, 35 miles an hour in the snow, lost control, ended up hitting the curb and flipping, so it needs pretty much all new arms in the rear. This wheel's really sunken in. That one sticks out because the panhard bar is bent, but it was supposed to come with everything. I thought it was going to come with a lot more stuff than it did, but I got this car for $300. $300 is really cheap for a pretty relatively straight 2010 Mustang chassis with a clean title, which is the big thing for me. I could have actually parted it out and sold the quarter panels alone and doubled my money, and then sold the trunk, the taillights. So I have actually a good front bumper for it. I have the taillights. The back glass is still good. Like I said, these are the 20s. They're not keeping them. He actually just sold the rear bumper before I came to pick it up, so I took $100 off. He originally wanted $400. It has a DC Sport axle back. I'm probably actually going to use those pipes to tie into my exhaust. Here's one of the main reasons I bought the car. The quarter panels are mint. I did this. I'm so mad about this. My tire rack hit this on the trailer because the axle was so crooked it was crab walking. But, and a little Bondo if I want to. It has a little bit of a dent right here, but nothing too crazy. If this thing flipped really hard, this should have been broken. These would probably be broken. I don't think it was too bad. We'll see once the roof comes off, but there's a dent here, dent there, small things. Trunk is pretty mint. This one has a little dent too, right there. But for the most part, the quarter panels, I don't want to replace the quarter panel. They're mint condition, which is great. So let me get into my plan for the car. So pretty much I want to get this car running and driving by next spring. And might seem like a lot of work, and it is going to be a lot of work, but there should be enough time to do it all. I'm hoping. We all know how projects turn out. But like I said, I bought these pedals. And I bought a handbrake so I can use like the parking brake because I don't want it rolling around everywhere. And pretty much, I need a couple other little things I'm going to buy for now. But I have most of the stuff to get my cage done. I did pull the seat out of my 240 because that is going to be going in here. I'm doing a cage, which I have right here. Very excited about this. It's a S&W pre-bent cage. I had one of my 240. The fitment was actually really, really good for a like pre-bent cage. Like it fits pretty tight. So that's the first thing on our list is cutting this roof off, putting the cage in. And then I also bought all of my steering components for that part because there's no steering column, no dash, anything. Here's a 3/4 inch shaft. It's just going to be that coming up. I'm probably going to be doing electric power steering, so I'll make a video on that, tying into this when we get to it. This is for notching pipes for the plasma cutter. This is for this to go through the firewall. This is the factory bushing. The factory bushing is actually bigger than the shaft, so these little couplers will slide in there, make that fit. Weld on, quick release from Jegs. These are so nice compared to like the quick release in like tuner cars that like bolt on. Like this thing has the spline that you weld on, and when you drop this thing in, there's no play at all. It's crazy. But I also have a 240 gas pedal to put in. The Mustangs are drive-by-wire, and there's not really any sense in trying to convert a drive-by-wire pedal to the 240 pedal. They're just plastic, or to a cable pedal. So we're gonna put a 240 pedal in here because it was easy. It was like 30 bucks to buy one, and they're super simple. So that's what's gonna be going in there. Pretty much, like I said, my main focus today is cutting this roof off. Then next video is gonna be mounting the seat, because that's the most important thing for me to work with. Building the roll cage around the seat. I didn't do that on my 240. Like when I did the cage in that, it could have been a lot better. That's all I'm saying. Like I really didn't have enough knowledge to do that. It came out pretty damn good for, just being something that we did in one day, and we did pretty quick with like no knowledge. But I do want to build it around the seat so that way there's enough clearance and the harness angles are right. My head will clear everything. So expect footage on that. But for today, we're going to cut this roof off. And since I've been busy collecting parts, we might try to test fit this roof, because this roof I bought to replace that one. I already drilled this one off. Of the old car, we actually cut it off. Then when I got it home, I drilled it off, drilled all the spot welds. So we're going to get the spot weld cutter out and get this roof started. We have to cut the back window out first, but we're going to start on it for now. Alright, so for those of you guys wondering how I'm going to drill these, I've already went through and center punched them. Just the spot weld bit is pretty big, so it'll cover up even if you're a little bit off center. Then I come through with these. I forget what size they are, but they're about the same size as the guide on the spot weld bit. And I bought a pack of these from Harbor Freight because these do snap, so you might as well plan on buying a few. But it really isn't hard. And that's all you're gonna do for every spot weld that you have to drill. Then I'll show you when we come back and do the spot weld cutter. Alright, so once you have all the the pilot holes drilled, you can mount up your hole saw cutter or your spot weld cutter and get it ready. Now this pin is actually spring loaded, so if your hole doesn't go all the way through, it'll push in. But it's best to have this go in something good, because if not, this will want to walk. And these Harbor Freight ones like to break. I already went through one, but I have another one over there as well, a brand new one in the box. So we're gonna see how far we can get with this one. Now you also don't really have to go ape shit. You only have to cut through the first layer of the material, because there's like a brace underneath of this where this ties into the A-pillar. And if we keep that intact, it's less to fill up with the weld. It'll be a little bit easier. Also, another tip, a little bit of oil in the hole helps these things tremendously if you're drilling through multiple layers. So this front edge isn't going to separate because I still have to drill out this cross member, because I kept this part here on the other roof. It's going to drop in and tie in where it ties into the A-pillar. But as you can see, the skin is starting to separate a little bit, which means we got the spot welds up, and we're going to be able to peel all that back once the other side is drilled. But right now, I'm gonna focus on this. All right, guys. So I skipped over a little bit. Drilling the spot welds was the same process all the way through. The biggest thing was drilling these from. You have to drill these ones from the inside like that. But it's all apart now. I was just playing around, test fitting the main hoop. Seems to fit pretty good. I'm a little bit disappointed, but we'll go over that in a second. I had my stepmom help me cut out the back window. This came out in one piece. Thank God. The windshield was already broken, but it did come out in one piece. But it came out in one piece, which is great. Here's everything. I had to throw out 2 bags of interior shit. Like, I don't think people realize, like, how much work it is just cleaning up something like this. Because, like, there's a lot of brackets and stuff I'm not going to use. Like, I still have to take out these speakers, these brackets, unbolt these seat belts. I already did the seat belts over there and everything. So, I just want to get all the big stuff out of the way. I'm not going to worry about, like, all the plastic clips and miscellaneous bolts and studs. Because, like, the firewall is covered in these. Like, that's for the gas pedal. More studs over here. I don't want to delete them yet because they're really useful. I give major props to the previous owner because he actually saved all the bolts and gave them to me, or most of them. So all those studs and stuff, I have all the factory hardware for. I had all the factory hardware for the e-brake, for the clutch pedals. There's a lot of factory hardware, which is just, it's really cool to me because it's kind of a pain in the ass having to shop around and get the bolts, and then if they're not the right length, you have to cut them down. And then when you cut a bolt, like, the threads are never perfect. So, but I was just mocking up the 240 seat. This isn't like anywhere it would actually be. It's just tapped in there. But like that's actually about where I think I'm gonna end up sitting. Just a little bit further back, probably like there, but not as lean back. Like tilt that so the bottom goes back, but the top goes up. And I mean, if you look from inside, not that there really is much of it inside. Like I said, a little bit further back, so my legs are a little bit less bent. Sorry for my flamingo socks, I was wearing long pants today, but just so my legs are a little bit less bent, and the steering wheel, I don't even know if my shaft will be long enough to reach out here. And I want to sit up a little bit higher, because literally, this is my line of sight. I'm gonna fucking hit something. This is just mocked up. Clearly the halo bar isn't in, so. But I really want to show you guys. Back here, you guys should be able to see. This is clearly my seat is going to be a little bit higher plus padding, so give or take probably an inch or two, but the main hoop's going to come down probably about a ½ inch. I want it to be as close to the roof as possible. But if you look, I mean, this thing is pretty tight in there right now. I want to get it to almost touch these inside skins of the A-pillar, but it's going to come down a little bit. But forget that. Just look how much helmet clearance there is. Like my 240, like Jesus Christ, even if I go up like 3 inches. And now we're going to get on to the main hoop, which I'm a little bit disappointed in. This is what really disappoints me, is this gap. Sucks. I can spread it, like I could pull the harness bar out, stick a spreader bar in there, and spread it, which I probably am going to do. The harness bar probably won't fit then, but I bought 18 feet of extra tubing when I ordered the cage. So I can use that like maybe for the dash bar, or the X I want to do in the rear bars, or for the roof brake. I'm gonna want to do bars in the roof too. So, or maybe the door bars, something. I can maybe do diagonal in the hoop, anything like that. You get the point. Because like I said, I just wanted that to be a little bit tighter. That's like 2.5, 3 inches on both sides. Like it's actually pretty centered. The other option is to cut the main hoop and move it back and land it here, which I don't know if you can tell, but there's like this support brace here. You'd have to like bend the hell out of the base plates to conform to that. I don't know if I'm too comfortable with that. And there's a lot of seam sealer in here, which if you don't get all that will fuck your welds up. But the tube could literally land perfectly. Boom, right there. And you can weld it to this damn pillar almost. So I mean, that is kind of an option, but I think what I'm gonna do is weld the plates here, spread the tube out so it's a little bit wider, and weld it in. And that will also bring it down a little bit, so maybe I don't have to trim it. But it's looking pretty good, guys. I'm gonna test fit my other roof sometime. It's looking pretty good though. Looking pretty good. Seat rails are next, cleaning's next, dry ice is next. This is a pretty big list, but it should be going pretty quick once we get the inside cleaned up enough to start working on. And I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. One last thing I'll show you. Here you get a look at the damage. It's actually not that bad on this A-pillar. Like, I don't see anything tweaked. Right there is the only spot like I showed you earlier, but it's looking pretty good. So I'm really hopeful, and I'm also really hungry. So I'm gonna throw this shit on the curb, go get some food, and relax, man, because I need to do that. See you guys next time.